Today in Grow a Garden in Roblox, it's Thursday, which means we always make our 10 tips in preparation for the next update video, and that update is the kitchen storm update. If this sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit the red subscribe button. Become part of the first 200k OGs, claim your OG card, and let's get into the video. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is stock up on your biggest fruits. What am I talking about? Well, we have all these different sprinklers in the game, and in preparation for the new event, you're probably going to want to have fruits ready to cook up more stuff. So make sure you take the time to clean off all your trees after slapping down all of your sprinklers so that your sprinklers will grow huge fruits in preparation for the event. So you might want to do this Friday night, if not Saturday early morning. We don't know what recipes we're going to see in the new Cooking Storm event. We don't know what things we're going to need. We don't know if recipes are going to change. We don't know if there's going to be new ones or delete the old ones. We have no idea. So go ahead, plant whatever you have, make everything huge, and then in case we need to hunt for new recipes, you're prepared and you're ready to go. Oh, and speaking of changes, point number 2. Guys, you might want to farm your rewards that are located with Mr. Pig here. For example, come and talk to him. Take a look at these rewards. We don't know if any of this is changing. It might not. It's a mystery because everything is new and awesome. So if you don't have enough pancake stacks to abuse their little gathering mechanic, if you don't have your taco fern because you haven't looked out and grabbed a taco fern yet, you might want to take the time to farm up this event in preparation for the new update, because we don't know if anything here is going to be the same, if anything's going to be different, if the percentages are going to change, if they're going to add to this, if they're going to take away from this. We have no clue. So take the time, farm up what you need just in case. You don't want to regret missing something. Now, to do this, I'm going to give you guys point number 3. Tip number 3, which kind of ties into tip number 4, but I'll explain that when I get to tip 4. So tip number 3, hand in all of your food recipes before the event drops Saturday morning. Why am I mentioning this? Because we don't know if those recipes are going to change or not. For example, open up my inventory here. I happen to have a couple pieces of food lying around. Right, I've got this big old bone hot dog and this big old bone pie here. Sugar apple pie, the prismatic. I might want to hand them in before the event in case those recipes are no longer usable, in case his cravings change entirely. What if he no longer wants ice cream? What if he wants something like coffee or whole new recipes? We don't know. So you may want to hand in whatever food you've been stocking in by then. So if you've been following my pie example, where I mentioned everybody should be farming up pies because they only take 2 bone blossoms, if you don't get a pie craving between now and then, you might want to hand them all in regardless. Now, this ties into point number 4. And I mentioned this because I want you to pay attention to point 3 and point 4 together. Point number 4, don't hand in all your foods and stock up on your foods. So here's the problem. Point number 3 was hand in your foods in case the recipes change. Point number 4 is don't hand in your foods in case the recipes stay the same, but the rewards change. We don't know which way this is going to go, and I'm going to leave that choice up to you to decide what risk you want to take. If you think the recipes are going to change, you might want to hand in your food. However, if you think the recipes are going to stay the same, but the rewards are going to have new and maybe better rewards, hold on to your food. So basically, it comes down to a risk versus reward, and I'm telling you both options and letting you make that decision because I have no insider information. I do not have access to the testing servers. All I can do is give you these options and let you make the best guess that you can make with whatever other information you have access to. So you have a choice. Hold on to your food and stock them up for turn-ins later in case nothing changes, or get rid of them now in case the recipes do change. That way you're not stuck holding useless food. That's up to you to decide. Point number 5, if you don't have a bunch of shekels, farm your shekels. As you guys know, the developers like to add new seeds to the seed shop, new gears to the gear shop, and those seeds and gears always cost more and more shekels. So if you're not in the 100 billion range or more, farm up your shekels. If you have trillions of shekels, you're probably fine. The most expensive thing in this game costs tens of billions of shekels. If you're in the trillions, you're in the clear. Don't worry about farming up shekels. If you're in the quadrillions, just stop playing the K-ball entirely like myself. If you're in the billions or the millions, you might want to take the time to farm up more shekels in case, like, I know, everybody knows the trillion shekel seed is coming. The trillion shekel gear is coming. It's only a matter of time. So be prepared for that. Farm up your shekels if you need to. Point number 6. And once again, point number 6 ties in very tightly to point number 7, but we're going to start with point number 6. Point number 6, clean up your garden. What do I mean by this? We all know that coming up Saturday morning is the mutation event, is the developer event where they flood us with a whole bunch of weathers and we get lots of awesome mutations. If you don't want to have those mutations wasted on other plants, clean up your low-cost plants, remove your blueberries, remove your tomatoes, have only your bone blossoms and all your fun, expensive stuff there, and enjoy watching the mutations go on to your most expensive fruits and not your least expensive fruits. But that ties into the next point if you, like me, are in a very specific situation. Point number 7. If you're the kind of grow a garden player who has one massive fruit, let's say you have an alternate garden, a garden on your alt, and you've got one bone blossom tree, and on that bone blossom tree are like 3 or 4 gorgeous bone blossoms. Or you're like me, and you have a single horn dino shroom, and it's got this humongous size, and you want to put mutations from the events on your single solitary fruit. I've got you. This is a strategy. Put down like 100 carrots. I'm not kidding. What I thought was if I only had a single fruit on my garden, that the mutations would flock to it like bees to honey, but it's not the case. It's a % chance regardless of how many fruits are in the garden. So what you do is you put down 100 carrots, and then randomly among those carrots, the mutations will occur. The black hole mutation putting void touched, the disco mutation putting disco, etc., etc., etc. And then at the end of the event, you pick up all those lovely carrots, you with a trowel, and you move them to the side so you don't delete them by accident. So you move all the void touched over, you move all the plasma over, you move all the disco over, you make a nice little pile over here on the one side, and then you delete the other carrots that are boring regular carrots. And then the Spinosaurus. Get yourself the Spinosaurus. And then he goes, om nom nom, eats those carrots and spreads them to a favorited fruit. And what fruit would be favorited? Well, your humongous dino shroom, your humongous bone blossom, etc., etc. That is how you spread mutations onto your single fruit the best. Point number 8, and I will say this every time because not enough people do it. Get yourself a Discord notifier. I suggest the Dawn Discord that I do not own and I have no stake in and I am not sponsored by. I just like it because they have useful features that no other Discord has. And I like useful features. This is the Dawn Stocks Trading and More Discord. And they have all the usual notifiers for seed stocks and gear stocks and egg stocks and weather, etc., etc. They even tell you when Jandal has admin messages and they record them here. But more importantly, down here at the bottom, they give you information of where the super seed is in the forever pack. For example, as of the making of this video, the super seed is located 3,579 Robux deep into the forever pack. Clearly, you don't want to farm it there. You don't want to grab that. But it also tells you when the super seed is much cheaper, like a 484 Robux super seed. That's not too bad. Or how about that one time I told you guys in my videos about the super seed and the fact that it was a 37 Robux super seed? Yeah, the Discord notifier told me. Discord notifiers are so useful. And the Dawn Discord is where I find leaks as well, where they're digging through the data. So get yourself a Discord notifier. If you want the Dawn one, go in the description. It's linked right there. Point number 9. Point number 9. If you want, I don't advise it, but if you want, it's there. Jump into your shop and grab the Kitsune Chest. That is a limited time. As you can see, it's going to expire here 2 days from now, right here. Let me circle it again. 2 days from now, right here. It's gone. So if you want to get a chance, and guys, don't do this. The odds are not in your favor. If you want a 1% chance at a rainbow pet that can then become a rainbow corrupted Kitsune, just don't. The odds are impossible. But if it's there, if you want it. And point number 10, if there are any crafted plants in here, such as the amber spine, the lingonberry, or the horsetail, and you want those, there's a good chance these 3 older ones from the dino era are going to rotate out. So if you don't have them, you might want to grab them because, as you know, I missed out on the honeysuckle because I thought the sun coil was going to be the big thing, and I missed out on the honeysuckle method. And since then, I always grab at least one of every one of those plants. If you haven't done so, you might want to do so. Hopefully this video was useful to you. If it was, as a thank you, go ahead and hit subscribe. Claim your first 200K OG card. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.